Alright folks, I'm bluing this barrel right quick. Or at least I'm trying to put one coat on it. See what we come up with. I'll show you here in just a second. Having to work with this pretty quick. I don't have my standard heater that I normally use for long stuff, so I'm having to improvise here. So you guys hang with me for just a second. It is bluing. Not as well as I have blued in the past, but it's bluing alright. It's coming along. Like I said, I don't have the means of heating. Well, I did. My old heater burned up on me that I used for this. And so I'm having to improvise here with a, I'm sure some of you are familiar with a hot paint stripper. Well, that's what I'm using to heat this thing up with. So it takes a little longer to heat it up. Try to hold a constant temperature because you have to keep going back and forth on it. But I think we done pretty good on the first round. This ain't looking bad at all. It's like I've always said, you know, you determine how dark you want it as to how many coats you put on it. Alright, hopefully you can tell that that's starting to darken up a little bit. That's first coat. This thing's still a little bit warm, but you can see this whole thing. You seen how rusty it was and how bad it looked. It's coming along. Coming along, not bad at all. Got all the back stuff back in it so I can go ahead and glue it all in place. But it's not bad at all. Not bad. Like I said, he didn't want it to look new. He just wanted it to look better. Clean it up basically. It had a lot of rust on it and really, really dirty, nasty. I said this guy, he said he built this kit when he was a kid, him and his dad. And his dad passed away not too long ago, so he's got all of his dad's estates, him and his brother, all his firearms and stuff like that, and him and his brother have picked out a few that they're going to keep that has some sentimental value to them, and they've got some like this one that they're going to sell. So he wanted it cleaned up to look a little nicer, trying to sell it. And so anyway, he asked me if I'd work on it. Naturally, I love working on old guns, so I told him, yeah, I'd work on it for him a little bit, see if we couldn't make it look a little better anyway. And so it's still going to have its old appearance. I'm laying it down here on my leg, so it's a little easier to work on. It's kind of hard to hold this thing up and rub it at the same time. So I'm laying it down here on my legs, but just wanted to let you see a little bit about what was going on. And like I said, we're not trying to make it look new. We're just trying to make it look clean and a little better preserved. And we'll see what we come up with here. Alright, got that on there. And you know, when you put your bluing on it, you take a little bit of steel wool and you rub over it to get that old haze off of it. And then you go back through process 1, 2, and 3 again. So I'm going to get a little bit of this glaze off of it before it cools down too much, so it won't be so hard for me to warm back up the second time. I'll show you a little bit about what this thing's looking like. Oh, it's looking nice now. Looking nice. Yeah, still got a little bit of the old features in the barrel peeking through, so it doesn't look new. Alright, this thing's coming out pretty nice. In fact, a little better than I thought it was going to. Alright, it's always good when it comes out better than you anticipate. Okay, just a little bit more here. And, okay, hopefully you can see some of that. This thing's starting to come out pretty nice. Starting to get a little bit of shine to it like it ought to have. So I'm going to take the heat gun And I'm just using old Wagner paint stripper to warm this thing up. So we're going to warm it back up just a little bit. I'll say this is kind of a slow process because some of you that watch me do these things, I normally have a long electric base heater that I can just lay it down on, and it heats the entire barrel equally all at one time. Makes it a little easier because I can set it down and I can do something while I'm waiting for it to warm up. Doing it this way, I just have to heat a little bit at a time and keep working my way up. And like I've said in my earlier videos, you don't want it so hot you can't hold it, but you want it pretty warm so the pores of the metal open up and will accept the blue. Now, if you ever tried to use this cold blue, you know you rub it on cold steel and it don't look like you've done anything. It takes about 20 coats and then you walk off and leave it, and the next day you can tell a little bit of bluings on it. I learned by trial and error that if you'll heat that metal up, it activates that blue. And it does a much nicer job. Been having some allergy problems, so my throat's kind of clogged up. Y'all just kind of bear with me, if you will. Ooh, that's getting pretty warm down there. Heated up a little more than I wanted to. Turn this over. Finish warming this back up right here. Go back down at a time or two. Roll it a little bit. And all I'm doing is just heating this barrel up. Alright, let's try another coat of blue. Turn my rag around here, try to keep it somewhat clean. You don't have to be perfectly clean, but you want it somewhat clean. And now we're just going to continue the process. We're going to rub this cold blue right back on here. And you know what I'm talking about with cold blue. It's this stuff right here. This is actually super blue. I found it works a little better than just a standard blue. So anyway, we take it and rub it down really good. Yeah, this thing's turning darker. Every coat you put on it, it'll turn darker. Now when you're doing this and you look at it, you're going to think, that don't look good, that I messed up somewhere, because that really don't look good. And don't think that. It's not going to look good until you do the last step. Those of you that watch me do cold blue, you know what the last step is. It's a 30-day process. But as soon as you do that last step, you see what it's going to look like when it's done. And it's no, I don't try to keep it no secret. The last step is coating it down really heavy with just regular gun oil. Most time I'll use the cheap gun oil to oil it first 3 or 4 times. Because what you're doing, you're pulling all those pigments of rust and impurities and everything out of the steel. So if you rub it down with your oil every day for about a month, for about 30 days, and the way I work, I go out of town a lot, so I don't get to do it every day. So sometimes when I'm doing it, it might take a little bit longer because I have to do it on the weekends. But usually when I go out of town, as soon as I get home, I'll coat it down good with a coat of oil. And depending on what time of day I get home, before I go to bed, I'll rub it down again. And then the following morning when I get up, first thing I'll do is go ahead and rub it down with a coat of oil. I'll rub it down again that night. And it's just a continuing process. Like I say, and the way you know that you're down to about as far as you need to go, when you start oiling it down and your rag doesn't come out brown like that, you're there. Because I can tell you, for about the first 10-15 times you oil it down, your rag's going to come out just plumb brown. Okay, that's pulling that impurities and stuff out of the metal. Now once you're done, like I said, the impurities will quit coming out and you'll oil it down and your rag won't be nasty and dirty. That's the basic way of knowing that you're pretty much there. Alright, I got this thing coated again, and as you can see, the old barrel looks dull again. This stuff dries in a haze. It's real hazy. So you take your steel wool and you come back, and I'm gonna try to do this where you can see it, and you just rub and take that old haze off of it. Look at there, starting to shine right there. I hope you can see. Hope you can see it. I don't know. Like I say, in this light, hopefully you can see it. But I'm gonna go ahead and rub this thing down. Go ahead and get this off of here. Get all this old mess off. Yeah, see, even like them old rings right there, when you go to rubbing them, they start getting shiny. That's actually for the rod, the ramrod. They set down inside those two rings, or it sets down inside those two rings. All right, that's actually not looking bad at all. Not bad at all. Much nicer than I had anticipated. Let me get around this concussion cap ring, or inlet. There we go. That's looking much nicer. Much nicer. Alright. Now, if you'll give me 1 second, I'm going to show you something. Gotta grab got an old door hanging there, so gotta work around it. Y'all hang with me for a second. Let me get a clean rag here. Alright, put the old door back up there. Give me a clean rag, and I'm gonna use a little bit of gun oil, okay? Nothing special, just some old Hops gun oil. And what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna spray it right here on this rag. And it don't take a whole lot, see, I ain't much. But now I'm gonna start rubbing this barrel down with it. Now here, I don't know if you can see it or not, but start rubbing this barrel with it. And when I'm done and finished, that's about what it's gonna look like. That's about what it'll look like when I get done. Just like that. A little different from all that rust that was on there, isn't it? Yeah. That's what I'm saying. If old poor man like me, sometimes I can't afford to buy the real nice looking guns. So a lot of times I'll find a piece of junk that I can buy cheap. Main thing is make sure the barrel's not bad. Inside the barrel. If it's bad, pitted real bad, there ain't much you can do for it. Wouldn't recommend buying it. But as long as the inside of the barrel is fine, you can do the cosmetic part. It's not that hard, folks, I'm telling you. I have people telling me all the time, like this guy right here, that he just doesn't think he could do it, so he'd rather pay me to do it. Well, and I don't mind doing it, and I don't charge a whole lot, but I do charge for my time and materials. But it's not that hard, folks. Most of my guns I have refinished, because like I said, if they look bad, you can usually buy them cheap. It's not hard to do cosmetic work. You do the cosmetic work, make the gun look nice again, and you've got a piece that you're not ashamed of. And I had another guy the other day ask me what was my favorite gun, and I said, same as it always has been. It's never changed. I like the guns that go boom, you know, and that's pretty much it for me. I'm not one for any particular brand or type. As long as it's dependable and it goes boom when I pull the trigger, that's my favorite gun. That's the gun that makes me happy. So, alright. This thing has really, honestly come out better than I ever intended or I ever expected. It looks really, really nice. Like I said, we were able to hang on to some of the older features in it. I don't know that you can see them or not, but the barrel still got a few little blemishes here and there. Shows a little age to it. But that really turned out nice. I'm pleased with that. Working on the front sight. See it polished up. And I'm going to put a little mother's polish on that, and I believe it'll come out a lot brighter. So we'll be putting a little mother's polish on this thing. If you're not sure what I'm talking about, let's see, where is my mother's polish? I might have took it in the house. I may have taken it in the house. No, here it is. Right here it is. Right here. You can find it in most automotive stores. It's called Mother's Mag and Aluminum Polish. The stuff's great, I'm telling you. We have used a lot of polishes over the years. This tops them all. It's a little expensive, but I have been using that bucket right there for over a year now. And you can see there ain't a whole lot of it gone. So, but that stuff is good. All right. Now, where is my... Here's the rear sight. You can see it's kind of dull, not much of a gloss to it. We're going to take some of this oil and rub on it. Oh, that's pretty. That's nice. Yeah, we rub this thing down a little oil, let this thing soak. That rear sight's going to look good on there. Look at that little rear sight. That's going to look nice on there. Okay. So, I'm fixing to move on to another part. And another part will be starting on the stock and some of these other finished pieces. So, you guys hang on. This is probably going to be in 4 or 5 sessions. So, you guys check them all out. Make sure you see how this thing turns out at the end.